"Get out of my house. You don't belong here." Tears filled little Amira's eyes as her grandmother slammed the door shut behind them. It was pouring rain, and her mother, Nadine, held her close, shivering on the porch with just a suitcase, a folded photo of her late husband, and nowhere to go. Just a day after burying the love of her life, Nadine was being kicked out by her own husband's mother. Why? Because she was black. Married into a wealthy white family, Nadine always faced silent disapproval. But after Marcus, her husband, passed away unexpectedly in a car crash, the hatred wasn't silent anymore. Grandma Helen, a proud woman from old money, made her feelings clear. Nadine was never family, and now that Marcus was gone, neither was Amira. What Helen didn't know was that Marcus had left something behind, something worth $200 million. And soon, her actions would come back to haunt her. Marcus Carter was the kind of man who smiled more than he spoke. A brilliant black tech entrepreneur, he had built his company from the ground up, working late nights while Nadine stood by him, even when they had nothing but a one-bedroom apartment and a dream. Years later, after a major buyout deal, he sold his software company for over $80 million. But despite his success, he didn't flaunt his wealth. He quietly invested, saved, and built an even bigger portfolio, discreetly. Why the secrecy? One reason: his mother, Helen. Helen was a wealthy white woman from old Connecticut society. Proud of her heritage and blinded by her social circle, she never truly accepted her son's decision to marry Nadine, a warm, smart black woman with a humble background. Helen smiled at family gatherings but never let Nadine forget she was different. Her comments were sharp, coded in politeness, but deeply cutting. "Marcus, she's very spirited, or is she comfortable around our kind of people?" Marcus, torn between his loyalty to his mother and the love of his life, chose to keep peace by keeping his fortune quiet. Even the family mansion in Connecticut wasn't technically in Helen's name, it was Marcus's, bought out from under the family trust after he became successful. But he never told her. Instead, he planned silently, putting everything under a trust for their daughter, Amira, and ensuring Nadine would be the legal guardian of it all, just in case. And when tragedy struck, a fatal car crash on a rainy night, Helen saw an opportunity. With Marcus gone and no public will to point to, she assumed everything was hers. She thought she'd finally erased Nadine and Amira from the family picture. She had no idea what Marcus had done to protect them. The rain hadn't stopped since the funeral. Nadine and 6-year-old Amira huddled in a dusty motel room with flickering lights, a broken heater, and one paper-thin blanket. The bedsheets smelled of cigarettes. Nadine stared at the ceiling while Amira slept beside her, her small arms wrapped tightly around a stuffed giraffe, her last birthday gift from Marcus. Nadine wiped a tear and whispered, "I'm sorry, baby. Mommy's trying." The next morning, Nadine left Amira with a kind neighbor from the motel and rushed to her job at a small bakery. She didn't even ask for time off after the funeral. She couldn't afford it. With trembling hands, she bagged pastries, washed dishes, and forced a smile for every customer. Inside, she was breaking. Then, right before closing, a sharply dressed man entered. His suit was dark gray, spotless. He scanned the room until his eyes landed on her. "Mrs. Nadine Carter?" he asked. She froze. "Yes. I'm Ethan Wells. I'm an attorney with Stone and Oak Trust. I've been looking for you for days." Her stomach dropped. "Why?" He reached into his briefcase and gently pulled out a sealed envelope. "Your husband made arrangements before he passed. You and your daughter need to come with me. It's regarding a trust." Nadine blinked, confused. "A trust? Marcus never told me anything." Ethan smiled warmly. "He wanted to protect you. And now, it's time to make sure you get what he left behind." Nadine's legs gave out, and she sat on a flour sack in shock. For the first time since Marcus died, she felt something she hadn't in days: hope. She had no idea yet, but the life Marcus had secured for them wasn't just generous, it was life-changing. The next morning, Nadine sat in a sleek downtown law office that smelled of leather and lemon polish. Everything felt surreal. Amira sat quietly beside her, coloring with crayons the receptionist had given her. Nadine clutched her handbag tightly as Ethan Wells returned with a thick file and a USB drive. "This," he said gently, placing the drive on the table, "is a video message Marcus recorded just weeks before his passing. And this," he continued, tapping the file, "contains all legal documentation confirming the trust and instructions he left." With a trembling hand, Nadine clicked play on the video. Marcus appeared on screen, sitting in his home office, eyes serious but soft. "Nadine, if you're seeing this, then I didn't get the chance to say goodbye the way I wanted. But I need you to know, I planned everything for you and Amira. I know how my mother sees you. I also know she will try to take what isn't hers. That's why I placed everything, our house, the company shares, investments, into a trust for Amira. You're the trustee. If anyone, including my mother, contests it, everything goes to charity." Tears spilled from Nadine's eyes. Then Marcus spoke directly to his mother. "Mom, I love you, but your refusal to accept Nadine has hurt me deeply. You always said you wanted what's best for me. Well, she is the best thing that ever happened to me. If you can't see that, then I'm sorry. But this is my final wish. Respect it." When the video ended, the room was silent, until the door slammed open. It was Helen. Red-faced, she yelled. "This is nonsense. That house is mine." Ethan calmly responded, "Legally, Mrs. Carter, it's not. Your son made sure of that." Helen stared at Nadine, speechless. She had just lost everything, and it was her own doing. 3 months later, Nadine and Amira lived in a beautiful gated community in Atlanta. The walls of their new home were filled with pictures of Marcus, laughing, holding Amira on his shoulders, kissing Nadine under the autumn trees. The house was modern, peaceful, and filled with love. Nadine had used a portion of the inheritance to start a non-profit in Marcus's name, offering tech scholarships to underprivileged youth. She didn't care about the cars, the luxury, or the big house. She just wanted to build a future her husband would be proud of. Then, one Sunday morning, the doorbell rang. When Nadine opened the door, she was shocked to see Helen, frail, pale, and visibly aged from stress. She held a small framed photo of Marcus as a child and a trembling white envelope. I came to apologize," Helen said quietly. "I was angry. I thought I was protecting the family. But I see now, I destroyed it." Nadine didn't respond. Amira peeked from behind her mother's leg. Helen looked down and softened. "She's beautiful. Just like Marcus." "I won't ask for money," Helen whispered. "I just want a chance to know her. To be in her life. Even just a little." Nadine took a deep breath. Every part of her remembered being thrown into the cold, holding her daughter with nowhere to go. She remembered the way Helen looked at her, like she didn't belong. Forgiveness wasn't easy. She knelt down beside Amira and whispered, "Baby, that's your grandma. But she made mistakes." Amira blinked. "Is she sorry?" Nadine nodded. "She says she is." Then she stood tall and said to Helen, "Come back when you're ready to truly be family, not by blood, but by heart. That's the only way you'll be part of her life." The door closed, gently, but firmly. Some lessons come with a price. And Helen had paid in full.